Hello, Lucy. How are you today?
I'm great, thanks. How are you?
I'm good. It's so good to have you back on the podcast.
Nice to be back. Thanks for having me.
My pleasure. So, for those of you that haven't listened to your previous podcast, would you like to begin by introducing yourself?
My name's Lucy. I'm a dog trainer. I'm originally from South Africa. Moved to the UK 9 years ago, and I started my business in September of last year. So it's quite a young business, and I've been sober for 7 months and 2 days.
Amazing. Congratulations
Mm,
on that. So
thank you.
brilliant. So, where does sobriety like link with your business? Like how they happen at quite similar times, right? You starting your business and
Yeah.
getting sober. Like, what was the catalyst that began both of those things?
Um, there are a few different things, but I think the main point was that my drinking was getting quite bad. I would say in June of last year, that's when it was kind of at its worst.
Mm.
And I knew that I had to make a change because I wasn't, even though I had a good corporate job, I wasn't happy and I wasn't feeling fulfilled. And I think I was constantly seeking coping mechanisms because it was a high pressure job. I was constantly seeking coping mechanisms to deal with the pressure. And also I just felt really stuck. Like I
Mm.
felt I felt trapped. I had the golden handcuffs on.
Mm.
Um, and I knew that I had to do something about it. And I knew that stopping drinking was going to be the first step.
Interesting. So I know for a lot of people, when it comes to letting go of alcohol, something that really holds people back is that they don't want to look at what they've been numbing, and it's scary. And
It's really difficult, yeah.
it might be like leaving a relationship, a marriage. It might be
Mm,
leaving a job. And ultimately, like what you've done alongside letting go of that numbing is you've had that kind of bravery to jump off a cliff, if you like, and go, right, you know
mm.
what? This is not in alignment. I'm not going to numb it anymore. Let's make a big change here, right?
Yeah, and I think change is so scary
Mm.
for humans in general. And for a very long time, I knew that I didn't want to stay at that company for forever. I knew that I wanted to do something with dogs, but I just didn't have the courage to make that decision for such a long time. So stopping drinking really forced me to just get my butt into gear and to get cracking with the business. I did do quite a lot of studying while I was working full time, and that didn't help with me needing to have a coping mechanism as well because of the pressure of my normal day job, and then also the pressure I would put on myself to do well with my studies to get qualified. So that was a difficult time, but as soon as I stopped drinking, everything just got so much easier.
Amazing. So this is going to be helpful, I'm sure, for many people listening, because it's not uncommon to be drinking, knowing full well that you're drinking because you don't want to deal with that big elephant in the room. Um, but can you tell us then, why was it not as bad as you might have imagined it was when you actually just faced up to it?
Um, I think the scariest part was making the decision. The
Hmm.
hardest part was making the decision. And then once I had done it, everything just kind of fell into place afterwards.
Yeah.
I had a really good support network around me. You know, my friends and my family were super supportive of me, obviously stopping drinking, and then also starting my own business. And it really wasn't that difficult once I had made the decision. It really wasn't that hard just to actually start taking steps towards what I wanted to do. And there's a quote that I really love, and it says, "The journey of 1,000 miles begins with a single step."
Hmm.
And taking that first step was obviously stopping drinking, and then it all just fell into place after that.
And actually, what you're describing is getting back into alignment. So you start
Mm,
thinking, you started coming back into alignment, you start listening to yourself. And when we are in alignment, things are easy. And obviously, like not everything's easy. We get tests, we have to move through our
mm,
experiences. But when we're working with our intuition and we're working with what feels good, we're going with the flow of what the universe wants us to do, and things do become easier and more effortless. Um,
yeah.
how would you
Well,
say?
actually,
Sorry, carry on.
oh, sorry, I was just going to say, and it's something else with sobriety that I've noticed, and I've seen. I mean, I think a lot of people in the sober community will agree with me, is that you can't really lie. You can't fake that you're enjoying something when you're sober. It's just not possible. So that's obviously been a big eye opener for me. And that obviously really helped to make the decision to massively reduce the corporate working hours and just do dog training.
Yeah, and I love that. So it's so true. We've been using alcohol. We've been trained to use alcohol to hide behind. It's a thing.
Mm,
It's something that we numb. That when we don't want to look at the fact that we're not living in alignment, and when we take that
mm,
away, we step into just showing up authentically, and sometimes
mm.
showing that we don't like something. And that's actually, I think, a big part of boundary setting. Like, I'm not going to people please. Like,
Oh,
no,
I love boundary setting. I'm so good at that now.
we love a bit of boundary setting, don't
Oh
we?
yeah.
Anyone who's coached by me, I'm all about the boundary setting.
Oh, I
It's
love it.
so important for manifestation.
Yeah.
Okay, let's talk a little bit more about that then. So how has that been integral to how you've shown up for your business?
What, manifesting?
Boundary setting and
Oh
manifesting.
wow. So boundary setting. So the first thing that was really important for me was to first like recover from the burnout from the last 7 years of working tirelessly.
Mm.
And once I'd recovered from that burnout, I was then able to just actually start from a really strong foundation and say, what do I actually want my day to look like if I had a choice? I don't know, that's a very privileged thing. Not everyone is able to design their life like that, but I was able to. So I wanted to kind of sit down and say, right, well, what do I want to be doing on a daily basis? I want to be out in the fresh air. I want to be working with dogs,
Mm.
and things that didn't fall into that plan were cut. So
Yeah.
that was a very important boundary, first of all, just to actually separate what I want to do and what I don't want to do. And then also, boundary setting has also really helped me with work as well. Initially, when I started my business, I did say yes to absolutely everything and got a little bit tired from working 7 days a week. But because I've learned so many lessons in sobriety, I was able to recognize a pattern that had cropped up from the past, which is I overcommit, I get everything done, but then it's at the expense of myself. And that's normally when I'd have a drink in the past. But obviously now I'm not doing that. I'm able to recognize the pattern when it does crop up and then take action immediately to set a new boundary so it doesn't happen again.
And has this impacted your manifestation then, like your ability to manifest abundance in your business, this boundary setting?
Yeah, hugely.
Yeah.
And I think as well, just focusing on my daily habits, and that's a boundary that I've set with myself, is making sure that I always do three things every single day. These are my non-negotiables, and setting that boundary with myself was actually really useful. So one of the things I do every single day is write down three things I'm grateful for every single day without fail. Actually, since I started working with you,
Yeah.
that's when I started doing my gratitudes list and just take, I mean, it takes less than 5 minutes every day for me to do that. It's such a little thing, but it really sets me up for the day and it makes sure that I'm manifesting at the same time.
Yeah.
And I remember when, I think it was in December or January, when you and I had a session and we were discussing like my goals for the year.
Hmm.
I think I've already achieved 75% of them,
Amazing.
just
Yeah.
because I'm consistent with my gratitudes and manifesting. And I wouldn't have been able to do that had I not had boundaries in place.
So let's also think about the alcohol piece in this. So if I
Mm.
rewound and we you were on a different timeline and you had not stopped drinking, how would your life, your business look different now?
I wouldn't have a business. I
Interesting.
wouldn't. Yeah, no, I wouldn't, because I would probably just be stuck in the same cycle of, work Monday to Friday,
Mm.
go down the pub on a Friday night, have a few drinks, and then Saturday, a little bit hungover in the morning, Saturday afternoon, have a few more drinks, and then Sunday lunchtime, a few more drinks with a nice roast dinner or something.
Yeah.
And drinking takes up so much time,
Mm.
like so much time. So now that obviously I don't drink anymore, I've actually just invested all of that time into things that I actually want to do. So obviously my business being my main priority, but then also other things that I never really did because of being hungover on the
I know.
weekend.
We become such interesting people, right? When we clear all of the space from alcohol.
I know, it's like, who am I?
So tell us more, like what are the new hobbies and things that you've brought in since you stopped drinking?
I've tried a few different hobbies, um, but I think in terms of hobbies, I do try and go to the gym. So that's something that I kind of did every now and then before I stopped drinking, but I never really made it part of my lifestyle. I would do like fad diets and stuff like that, or like boot camps that, would work for like 2 months and then I would just get chubby again. So, um, going to the gym, I mean, obviously, I know for some people that doesn't sound so fun, but for me, I do enjoy it. But something that I do at the gym is swimming. And
Yeah.
swimming is something that I used to do growing up competitively. And it's something that I absolutely love. I absolutely love swimming. Like I can't tell you how much. And me having that time in the water is my quiet time. And
Ooh.
that literally numbs my brain completely because all I'm thinking about is being in the water and my breathing and my times. That's literally all I think about. So that swimming for me has been a great coping mechanism to deal with any stress that I experience because I am quite susceptible to it because of the pressure and expectations I set. Um, so yeah, swimming's definitely one of them. And then a big part of my business is doing like one-to-one. It is basically dog walking, but I'm training people's dogs at the same time. So my previous job, just to give some context, I would be sat at a desk all day for 8 to 10 hours.
Yeah.
Um, However, now that's obviously not even a thing really. I do maybe 5 to 6 hours worth of walking every day, which is great. I mean, it's really good exercise, but also I'm spending time outside in the fresh air, which for me is just a dream. And I actually need that now.
Yeah. Let's go back to what you were just saying about dealing with stress, because
Mm,
as an entrepreneur, like it is stressful. Like it's
mm,
amazing. There's so much freedom that we have from working for ourselves, but it also comes
mm,
with uncertainty, with stress and with self-imposed anxiety. Now, of course,
mm.
past, right? When we felt these feelings, we used to reach for a glass of wine. And
Yeah.
society's trained us when you feel stressed, what do? You have a drink. So
Mm.
how do you show up for these feelings differently now, and what are the benefits to that?
I I do a lot of work with like in terms of self-development. So little things that I do to manage my stress is I listen to quite a few podcasts
Mm.
just about like little self-help things in general. And then I try and apply as many of those things as possible to my daily life. Just take little nuggets of information from different sources. So writing lists, like writing out everything that I've got to do is a really good way for me to get it out of my head because otherwise I'll just sit there and it's like my head is just a massive scribble full of things that I want to do and that stresses me out. So
Mm.
writing everything down and just getting it out, even if I don't do half the stuff, at least it's actually out of my brain and I'm not thinking about it anymore. Another thing that I do to cope with stress is meditation. I know it's not for everyone, but even just 5 minutes before I go to sleep at night, that really just helps me to go to sleep and just not think about stuff. I remember when I first started working with you and I just stopped drinking, my my nighttime routine was quite off, but just trying to fall asleep was really difficult because I'd have like a million things popping into my head at once. Um, and just taking 5 minutes before I try to go to sleep and just do some breathing exercises or just 5 minutes of meditation doesn't even have to be guided, just can be like, maybe some breathing exercises. That's
Yeah.
what I found quite useful for stress.
Makes a massive difference, doesn't it? And I mean, I know we've had many sessions where we've talked about like as and you're no different to anyone else. So I'm not sort of
Mm,
saying this is unique, but we've talked about things that have been stressing you out, and then of course you have those light bulb moments where it's like, oh, okay, no, now I know what I need to do. And when we were drinking, we didn't do that, did we? You described
no.
being so stuck, right, when you were in your corporate job. I was
Mm,
like describe it as being a hamster in a wheel. We're
yeah, just
asleep.
unconscious.
Yeah, and we're just going through the motions. And I mean, how would you describe your life now compared to being that hamster in the
Oh
wheel?
my God, completely different. I'm conscious 24/7, and I think um it can be so easy to switch off because you find a good job, you start your career, and then it's 20 years down the line kind of thing, and then you kind of wake up one day, whereas I obviously woke up 7 or 8 years into it and just thought, actually, do you know what, this isn't for me. It is for some people absolutely love it, but it just wasn't, it wasn't in the cards. That the universe had bigger plans for me than that. And I can't even describe how different my life is now. Like, I remember actually, a month into starting my business, it was like torrential rain, and I was meant to be outside all day, and I was outside all day, and I was just soaked to the core. And I remember driving home, and I was covered in dirt, dog slob, hair, like just an absolute mess. And I've never been so happy. I
Oh,
was so happy, and I was tired, and I was cold, and I was wet, but I was just so happy that, and I could smell like the residue of dog treats all over my hands. And I know this sounds grim, but it made me so happy because that was just a reminder of all of the hard work that I've put in and the changes that I've made. I'm, I'm really on the path that I was always meant to be on.
and I think a lot of those feelings of happiness and euphoria also come from that pride that you feel when you just think,
Mm,
wow, I did a really brave, scary thing.
mm,
And it is hard initially to make that decision to jump off that
mm.
cliff. And then when you do, and when it starts to work out, that feeling is so satisfying, isn't it?
Yeah, it's insane. I mean, I must say that having a good support network was just, that was really helpful for me. Obviously, having sessions with you just to like talk through things and having a non-biased opinion from someone. Um, but then also my family. My family have been so amazing. Like my sister helped me through so much of it, and just having people to bounce ideas off of who will give you their opinion but will always bear an open mind. It's so valuable. So having a good support network has massively helped me, and I don't think I wouldn't be as far along as to what I am now had I not had that.
That's amazing. And were there any points in this journey where you doubted, you had like wobbles and you thought, what have I done?
Yeah, I think there has been, yes, yeah. I think I've certainly learned the value of money. That's
Mm.
been a big life lesson that's come out of this because uh, initially when I started my business, obviously I wasn't earning, a tenth of what I was earning previously, and that was a big shock to the system. I knew that was going to be the case. I was prepared for it, but then having to do, the hours and hours and hours of walking or driving to get to and from clients, that really made me learn the value of money very quickly. Um, so yeah, that's been a big eye opener. And I think in the first month I was thinking, oh my God, what have I done? But things
Yeah,
have, really taken off, especially in the last 6 months. I have been working quite a lot, but that's because I really enjoy what I do. And I've built such strong bonds with all of my clients. And I'm fully booked for the next 3 months. So
thing.
yeah.
It would be, wouldn't it? Every time someone comes with an Amazon delivery, right, for my flat, they always press the buzzer when I'm doing a podcast. It's just so annoying.
It's funny you should say that because I know that I've got an Amazon delivery coming probably in like the next 20 minutes, and I've got two
Um,
sleeping pugs.
I'm just gonna let them like press the door.
Yeah.
There we go. How annoying. They'll hopefully leave it on the doorstep. So
Yeah, I might have one, by the way. I don't know when it's coming, but yeah.
I'm going to do a clap now because I'm going to see if I can cut that bit. Anyway, I'm sure that everyone listening is really excited to find you online, especially if we've got listeners who have dogs and would like a dog
Mm,
trainer.
yes.
So can you tell us how we can find you online?
Yes. So on Instagram, you can find me under Prep Dog Training, and that is spelled P.R.E.P.Dog.training.
Yeah,
And then on TikTok, it's the same. So yeah, Instagram and TikTok and Threads now as well.
excellent. So I'll also pop those links in the show notes.
Mm,
So anyone wanting to work with Lucy or just be generally inspired by her sober entrepreneurial journey, then you can
mm.
follow her. Yeah, thanks so much for coming on the podcast today to share your story
Oh,
with us.
thanks for having me. And thank you so much for all of your support
Oh,
over
my
the last,
pleasure.
I don't even know how long I've been with you. Long
What?
time.
I think it's like over a year,
I think it must be over a year.
or maybe it's about a year. I think it might be, could be at a year or just over.
Yeah, yeah, thereabouts.
Awesome. Well, I will speak to you very soon. And thanks for coming on the show.
All right, thanks, Annika.
Bye.